We're back in the studio with Lauren Magers doing a rapid fire on how she lives her daily life and tips you want to know about. So tune in right now. You don't want to miss this. Lauren, we're back. I want to know about your morning routine.
Okay. So routines are the foundation of your home. It's not something that you put on the side. It's not the mashed potato to the steak. How you show up in the morning creates your whole entire day. Key. Say it again. How you show up in the morning will define your whole entire day. Scenario number 1, you wake up in the morning, purify your bed, brush your teeth, have some beautiful positive music on, light a candle, have your green juice, prepare, do your affirmations. Scenario number 2, right? Get out of the house, let's go. Chaos, right? Your routine is your anchor for your kids. Emotional intelligence, nervous system, your family's in harmony. So my morning routine looks like this, and this is the one that I've been doing for 15 years with all 4 of my kids. We wake up in the morning, right? There's no alarm clocks. Alarm clock is one of the most negative things you could do for the nervous system, right? So your brain, basically when you hear it goes into a fight or flight state. So what I use is I like to use instrumental music that's almost like in tandem with the sunrise. Okay, so it's something like, birds or something very soothing and calming to keep your nervous system in alignment, right? So if you're gonna use an alarm clock, do that, right? So you wake up to that, you rise, then you purify your body. I talk about the mastery of your health, right? Why do we take a shower? We don't just tell our kids to take a shower and brush their teeth. We have to give them the why. This is why you purify your body, because when you cleanse, it's proven that water is healing.
Yes.
You're waking up for a new day. You get this new magical day. Can you imagine? It's like your oyster, right? So you're teaching them these fundamental principles. Purify your teeth, right? You brush your teeth. Why? Because bacteria is in your mouth and we want to cleanse for the new day. Then we drop down as a family, and I have videos of this. We literally drop down into the kitchen. We all take our supplements. I do, whether it's green juice, whether, my kids do spirulina. We're very big on organic, holistic living. So I'm not a person that, goes when my kids gets a fever and I run to CVS. No, fever is good. We want the body to heat up so that we could process, we could build the immune system. So my kids have always been built around this holistic living. So every day we go down, we take our minerals, we take our supplements, and then as a family, we do our gratitude journal. Everybody has a gratitude journal in my family. We all say what we're grateful for. We all write down our values and what we want to manifest for that day. After that, we then speak it. We then say our affirmations. I am strong. I am happy. I am healthy. Before my kids leave the house, they have an anchor.
Wow.
Before they touch digital, they have an anchor. So there's a 30-minute block. There's no digital in our home. Right? So you're setting the tone and the frequency. So your morning routine, if you look at it right now, those are micro skills and habits that take 3 minutes.
But that's incredible that you can make your children do that. And the reason they do it is because you've always done it that way.
But change the frequency, not make. I don't want to, I'm raising world-ready kids that have the foundation. So to me, it's a living principle of when you wake up, this is how your morning should unfold so that you're clear-headed, so that you could tap into inspiration. You can be creative. If you're already in the frequency of chaos, how do you think you're going to show up to school and to your job? I talk about this with my people all the time. They come in and they're like, oh my God, I don't know what to do with my kids. I'm making them do this. I go, it's so funny. Like in the real world, when you have a job, you get written up twice. After the 3rd time, you get fired. How many times are you going to make your kids do this? We want to move you into a proactive state. And that's where the system takes shape. That's throughout the whole day.
The fact that your children wake up and this is their mantra and this is what they want to do means that your system really works.
Yeah.
It really works, which is incredible. I'm just looking at you and you have this smile that you're like, yeah, what do you mean? There's no other way. Just like you said to me, like, what do you mean? Of course you wake up like this. Like, what do you mean you don't wake up like this?
That's what's so unique about what I've been able to establish is it's because when they were 2 years old, I gave them the life benefit. So when you see a family thriving, they don't want anything more than our family to be happy. They see us happy. Right? They understand what positivity is. There's 2 roads. There's a negative mindset. There's a positive mindset. When you're negative, when you're self-sabotaging, when you're doing this, you're attracting more of that energy.
Yes.
When you're positive, you're happier, you're more fulfilled.
Yes.
That's what children need to understand. So if there are right now, for all the viewers, assessing your life in your home, I call it the oasis, the sanctuary. What are the distractions that are impeding your home that you need to get rid of immediately? Do you know that for 15 years, We watch sports and we only watch positive music. I mean, positive, inspirational content. For 15 years, there is not one commercial that is allowed in my home. My kids have been trained to pause the commercials. May cause diarrhea, constipation, Bob. I don't want that in my home.
Wow.
It's that type of awareness, right? Because if you have that commercial in the background, your 2-year-old is just walking around, it's being programmed.
Yes.
So what is it in your life right now that you could look at your home, your sanctuary, oasis, imagine the waterfall, right? The birds singing. If you could create an oasis, what would that look like in your mind's eye?
That's huge, because I think most mothers have not paused to think about that, because we just go into the mode of run
Right.
without pausing to think of what we want it to look like.
Right.
And when we pause to think of what we want it to look like, what you do every morning is exactly the way everyone should be starting their day.
And remember, your children create their own oasis within your home. So when my kids were little, I took them to the farmer's market. They got to get a beautiful plant. It's proven that when you have living plants around you, you're happier people. They have their salt lamp. They have their music. They got to purify their own oasis. And it started as a living principle in their life, right?
So true.
So cluttered mind, cluttered life.
100%.
Mastery of your space. That's why home is one of my pillars, the mastery of your space. So if you have a child right now where their room is a mess, they got clothes everywhere, they need to learn this fundamental principle.
Now, tell me this, Lauren, for parents who are not single parents, who are doing this with a partner, okay, there is so much at stake here where we are not raising our kids alone. We have a partner, right? Like my husband and I, we're raising our family together, and we're modeling how a healthy relationship looks. So that in itself is a whole nother set of skills. And I know that I'm sitting here, I'm looking at your husband, you have an incredible relationship. I'm so blessed, but it's because we work at it.
Yeah.
Give me a rapid, quick check in on how do you make sure on the daily that you are aligned with your husband?
So we are a family unit, but we all have our own contracts in life. And the idea is you are a team. So you have the leaders of the team. If you are both on separate islands, there's no way for your home to be in harmony. It first starts with you as a pillar. So for me, the greatest thing that me and my husband do as an attribute for our marriage is authenticity. We show up with truth. Here's a frame. I call it the frame. So my happy life language is the reframe. I reframe all the language. I literally took the whole dictionary and reframed everything, right? What you just did right there is not in alignment. It didn't resonate with me the right way. I know you have something to say to me, but can you say it in a different way so that I can understand how you want to help me?
Wow.
This is 15 years of us working on this language.
Wow.
So you're not coming at it from, oh, whatever, no. I grew up with that. That doesn't work. Drop in, sit down, speak from the heart, not the head. The head's the ego. The heart wants to love. But I call us the legacy shifters because, again, alignment, radical awareness. I'm aware that I just showed up and I don't want to show up that way. So I'll put my hand up. That wasn't cool. Let's redo that.
That's incredible.
And you know what it builds, though? My kids, social emotional intelligence, communication and relationships. Within my system, you are not allowed to move forward unless you harmonize in a relationship. So when we're talking about siblings, my kids were 2 and 3 years old. 3 hours, we would miss everything. And I would sit with them and I'd be like, we got to work it out. We got to work it out. How do you feel? How do you feel? What I found in the underbelly is it was months of suppression. They were angry with each other. They were fighting. But guess what? They had never stopped and said, you know what you did there wasn't okay. It had festered for 3 months. So they're sitting there for 3 hours talking about their feelings. Right. Now they're 15 and 13. They're like, the way you showed up is not okay. Let's redo that. It's a social emotional intelligence. It's your own awareness as an emotional being and aware of others. That's what a family unit is.
Well, you're modeling that and then giving your children the tools so that they can have that in their relationships.
100%.
Right? Because they don't magically just grow up to be best friends with siblings. There are so many siblings who don't speak to one another.
You don't want them to be best friends. That's the difference that people don't really get. The fighting is good. Fighting in a relationship is very powerful when done the right way. When done the right way. I'm not talking about the yelling, punching, screaming, fighting, but being able to have the freedom to express.
Yes.
That's trusting your voice.
But to express respectfully.
100%.
And so you say you've completely rewritten the dictionary.
Yeah.
Can you give us a few examples of that?
Yeah. So for example, when I looked at my happy life system, I was like, okay, language is the first part of why there's so much dysfunction and disconnection in home. So you might not be saying things intentionally or consciously, but you're saying it and it's causing disconnection. So here's an example. I need you to go get this for me. Need, dictation. I would really appreciate your support. Holds a different vibration. Kid opens up their heart. Oh, she appreciates my support instead of telling me what to do. No one needs a boss. Yes. And this is where parenting has gone wrong. We think we have to be on this pedestal. We've got to be these bosses. Our kids need to go to school. No, they don't. No, they don't. Lean into it. You're building a life with your family. So if you were that child all over again, would you want your parents to say, I need you to go do your homework? Or I would appreciate if you completed that and afterward, let's go for a walk together. It's a whole different energy.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So my language is all around, like, how are we casting spells in our homes and with our families that's creating dysfunction and disconnection? So as like a sizzle here and a tool that I want to give people is if you find resistance with the way you're communicating with your child, that's time for you to step back. If your child is saying, no, I hate you, I don't like you, I was that kid. Why? Because I was being told what to do constantly. Just take a step back, reflect, think about how you can reframe that so that person now can come into your energy field and want to open up their heart.
That is huge. That is everything.
Right?
What you just said is huge. It's life-changing in every way. Oh my God, Lauren. I mean, I'm saying rapid fire. I just want to keep going. Okay, tell me one last thing, okay?
Yeah.
You told us how you wake up. You told us about changing the language, how you can argue in a healthy, respectful way. How do you wind down? How do you end your day? How do you bring everything to closure?
That's really good. I was just going to say that. So routine and system is my whole foundation. And as you know, like everything within a routine and a system are micro skills and habits that you're focusing on daily. So I talk about peak performance personal development. We're developing every single day as a human being. So there's absolutely no way that you could be at peak if you take your digital device into your bed and you're scrolling before bed. Zero. Your evening is where you reset the tempo of your next day. So just as I outlined the morning routine, our evening routine in our home goes like this. We all purify our body. There's no digital. My kids have been doing a Linda Hall meditation on Insight Timer consecutively for 14 years.
Wow.
Guess what the meditation is? I'm so grateful for this day. Affirmations, I am strong, I am beautiful. You're setting the program of your mind so when you go into the dream state, you're relaxed, right? So if you are in chaos in your evenings right now, I would advise you wind that back. Give yourself 45 minutes, set a timer, gamify it. I love to gamify it. Set a timer, turn off all digital, put on some positive, beautiful music, wind down the day, start building connection with your kids. I have a video going viral right now. I'm thinking it's basic. Right? How many kids come home and go, how was your day? Good. Don't allow your kids just to say good. We want to build connection with them. Give me your breakdowns. Give me your breakthroughs. What were your wins today? How could I support you? Where are we at? I know sometimes things are going to be uncomfortable, but we're raising leaders, right? We're raising leaders. So that's an opportunity for you to grow. Let me help you in that. That is how you build world-ready kids that love themselves from the inside out. Fundamental living principles are now infused into the home as if this was your oasis to catapult them into the world.
So Lauren, tell me this. You've done this since the day they were born, but for many of us who have never done this with our children and have teenage kids now, let's say, or school-age kids, how do you begin?
Okay, so this is, I have people in my academy that are literally grandparents, 65 years old, that are raising their grandchildren. And this is why I talk everything on a micro level. So my whole system is about positive habit stacking. So the idea is here's one little micro habit that you can now implement in your life. Now we want to celebrate that. So if we're talking about mindfulness meditation, let's focus on a 5-minute gratitude sequence for 7 days. Okay, once you start to cross that off, so it takes 22 days for things to become behavioral, 66 days for it to become programmed, right? It becomes habitual. 22 days, get past that mark, right? When you create that habit, here's the life benefit. So for your daughter that's a teenager, hey, when we wind down, I want to start implementing this meditation with you. We're going to start practicing what we're grateful for. We're programming her mind in that state, right? Why does that support your life? Because grateful people are happier people. So when we can anchor ourselves back into gratitude, your nervous system's calm, appreciate the little things in your life.
That's right.
It's tiny baby habit stacking that I would recommend. Because I always talk about this, like people always say like, God, Lauren, like I don't understand. And I'm like, this isn't a trend. Yeah. This is a lifestyle.
Right.
This is a lifestyle. And before you know it, we have boards right now. I have clients where they're off the board. They don't even need a profile anymore because it's their way of living, being, and creating.
Yes.
That's why I call it the happy life system. Happiness is not a destination.
The way of life.
Happiness is in the small moments. Yes. And when you can start to anchor that back with intentionality, you're really living. But there's no parent that should suffer in parenting. If you are in a proactive state, if you check your oasis, if you have the routines, if you have the foundations, if you do your shadow work, if you do your relationship work with your husband, with your spouse, significant other, you're gonna see transformation.
I mean, you're doing the work for us. You've laid it out. All we need to do is tap in, which is really incredible. All we need to do is tap in. And you told me that this all came to you divinely, where you were just writing it all down with backed research, and it's all there for us.
Yep.
And all we need to do is tap in.
That's it. But also to remember, it's about tapping in, but it's also taking that step to move into action. And I think that's the biggest thing. That's why, this is a revolution for me, because it's an everyday system. It's very different than listening to, a podcast or a book about how to raise a happy kid.
Right.
I'm giving you the habits and the skills and the foundation to anchor in the guardrails.
Yes.
And so just this morning routine, start doing this. I have seen transformation globally. You should see the testimonials. I had a man that was in the symphonies, one of the biggest opera in Venice. And he said, Lauren, I started doing this with my kids. They're 4 and 6. They love it. Why? Because they're building their confidence and they're empowered. Start small and keep stacking. That's your happy life way.
I mean, honestly, Lauren, in a world where there's so much anxiety and depression in our kids, it sounds like you've found a way, a non-medicated, organic way to do these little tweaks in life to really change the trajectory for all of our children.
100%.
I mean, I'm going to go home and I'm going to try this morning routine because it sounds heavenly to me.
And I have my gratitude journals on Amazon. They just launched.
Oh, amazing.
So I wrote a kid gratitude journal and a parent gratitude journal. So it's a family bundle. So you could do it with your kids.
How do we find, what do we put
It's on Amazon, just Lauren Majors, and it says gratitude journal.
Oh, wow. Lauren, you are incredible. Everyone who's watching, if you didn't see our first episode, go back and watch that. Share this with all your friends because I think it takes a village together. We can take control of our homes, but imagine if all your friends did it, if all the kids' friends were doing the same thing, how the frequency would be elevated.
And that's why we have the community at the Academy, because I'm like, you're not alone. It takes a village to raise kids, but imagine all of us doing it together, the same heart, the same consciousness, the same love. Imagine how our children are going to be impacted. You shift the children, you see a better world.
I am imagining it, honestly, and it is looking so good, honestly. Thank you. Thank you for
so
all
much.
that you're doing, for your authenticity, for showing up today. Everyone watching, share this with your friends. Let's get on this new vibe. I'm going to try it, and I challenge you all to do it as well. Now that we're stepping into the holidays, we have this time with our kids. No one's rushing out the door. Try it over the holidays. See how it goes. Leave your comments below. Love to hear from you, and we'll see you all next time right here on Moms Matter.